Number 10. The Isley Brothers. That Lady. The Isley Brothers signed to Motown in the mid-1960s and scored one real hit, This Old Heart of Mine, before the label's hit factory buried them behind bigger names like The Temptations and the Four Tops. In December 1968, they walked away and revived their own label, T-Neck. Their first release, It's Your Thing, became a massive hit, and Motown responded with a lawsuit claiming the song was made while they were still under contract. The case dragged on for years before a federal court ruled in the Isleys' favor. With full creative control finally theirs, they brought teenage brother Ernie in on lead guitar, fusing rock and soul into something new. That Lady, released in 1973, was the payoff, a top 10 hit that proved leaving Motown hadn't ended their career. It had only just begun. Number 9. Teena Marie, Square Biz. She was an unknown teenager when Motown signed her in the mid-1970s, built her as Lady T, and let her write, sing, and produce nearly everything herself, a rare freedom for any artist on that label. By 1981, Square Biz had gone gold off her album, It Must Be Magic. But when she wanted out of her contract the following year, Motown fought to keep her bound anyway, without releasing any of her new material. Teena Marie sued. The case, Motown Record Corp. versus Brockett, established that a label cannot hold an artist hostage under contract while shelving their work indefinitely. It became known as the Brockett Initiative, a law still cited decades later, and by her own account, it helped other artists, including one further down this list, finally walk free of unfair deals. Number 8. Luther Vandross, Never Too Much.
I can't fool myself, I don't want nobody else to.
For most of the 1970s, Luther Vandross was one of music's best-kept secrets, singing backup for David Bowie, Chaka Khan, and Barbra Streisand, and writing jingles for Kentucky Fried Chicken and Burger King under his own name, Nowhere in Sight.
Hung up the phone, can't be too late.
He fronted a group simply called Luther on Cotillion Records. 2 albums came and went, the label dropped them, and his voice stayed anonymous on everyone else's records. Then, in 1980, a lead vocal on the disco hit Glow of Love caught the ears of Epic Records executives, who signed him and, unusually, let him write and produce his own material. Never Too Much, released in 1981, hit number 1 on the R&B chart and went platinum. The voice that had been invisible for a decade finally had his own name on the label. Number 7. New Edition, Candy Girl. Bobby Brown and his teenage friends from Boston's housing projects entered a local talent contest in 1982, came in second place, and still walked away signed by producer Maurice Starr. Candy Girl made them stars in 1983, but Brown's ad-libbed dance moves and skipped rehearsals clashed hard with the clean, wholesome image the label had built around the group. In December of 1985, under pressure from their own management and record company, the group voted him out. Bandmates later admitted the decision was as much about industry pressure as it was about Brown's behavior. Brown's solo career exploded almost immediately with My Prerogative, while New Edition rebuilt around a new singer. One firing on one small stage in Boston quietly launched 2 separate legendary careers. Number 6. Rufus featuring Chaka Khan, Tell Me Something Good. Rufus was a struggling funk band in 1974 when Stevie Wonder came by with a song to offer them. Chaka Khan turned it down flat and asked him what else he had.
Before your pride.
Wonder wrote, "Tell Me Something Good," specifically for her voice in response. It shot to number 3 on the charts, won a Grammy, and turned a barely known band into stars almost overnight.
Love like you should.
The record label then renamed the group Rufus and Chaka Khan. Khan pushed back hard against the billing, but was told to accept it or lose the deal, and the shift quietly fractured the band's chemistry for good. She eventually left for a solo career in 1978. The friendships never fully recovered, even as she went on to become one of the most influential voices in funk and R&B. If you are enjoying this, do well to like, share, and subscribe to keep connected. Number 5. The Commodores featuring Lionel Richie, Easy. Number 4. Bill Withers, Lean on Me. A former Navy mechanic who didn't release his first record until he was 32, Bill Withers became a star almost instantly with Ain't No Sunshine, and by 1972, Lean on Me hit number 1 and sold 3 million copies. When his first label, Sussex, folded, Columbia Records signed him but wanted control over every decision, at one point suggesting he record a cover of an Elvis Presley song. Withers spent years fighting label executives, releasing almost no new music between 1977 and 1985, exhausted by constantly having his own instincts second-guessed. In 1985, once his contract ended, he simply walked away from the music industry for good. Unlike nearly everyone else on this list, nobody pushed him out. He chose to leave, and he never looked back. Number 3. Diana Ross, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. In January 1970, Diana Ross sang her final show with the Supremes in Las Vegas. Days later, Motown launched her as a solo act, with absolutely no guarantee the public would follow her. Early in her solo shows, she joked to audiences that they were watching to see if she could make it alone, while newspapers openly asked the same question in print. Berry Gordy hated her reworked version of Ain't No Mountain High Enough and clashed with songwriters Ashford and Simpson over its arrangement, refusing to release it as written. Radio stations played it anyway and forced his hand. The song hit number 1 in the fall of 1970, the biggest gamble in Motown's history paying off completely. A woman with no group behind her carrying an entire song, and an entire new career on her name alone. If you are enjoying this, do well to like, share, and subscribe to keep connected. Number 2. Gladys Knight and the Pips, Midnight Train to Georgia. Gladys Knight and the Pips scored hit after hit at Motown for years, yet Knight later said the label ran a caste system, saving its best songs for bigger names while her group got what was left over. She's also said Diana Ross had them pulled from a Supremes tour for outshining the headliners, and that even Berry Gordy's own son was upset when the group finally left the label in 1973. They signed with the smaller Buddha Records for creative freedom they'd never had. Midnight Train to Georgia, recorded in a converted parking garage studio in Detroit, became their first ever number 1 hit. The gamble paid off bigger outside Motown than it ever had inside it. A group once treated like leftovers, walking out the door and immediately building the biggest song of their entire career. Number 1. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? By 1970, Marvin Gaye was in a genuine personal crisis. His singing partner, Tammy Terrell, had just died of a brain tumor. His marriage was falling apart, and he had even tried out for the Detroit Lions football team. When Gaye brought Berry Gordy the song What's Going On, Gordy called it the worst thing he had ever heard and flatly refused to release it, dismissing its message as unfit for Motown's sound. Gaye responded by going on strike, refusing to record anything else at all. Months later, an A&R executive pressed the single behind Gordy's back, and it sold 200,000 copies in a single week. Gordy relented and handed Gaye full creative control over the album that followed. What's Going On became one of the most acclaimed records ever made, born entirely from a fight its own creator very nearly lost.